I'll bet you can guess what I do for a living. That is right, I'm a corporate lawyer. But I'll let you in on a little secret. I'm more comfortable juggling these than I am meetings. I'm never happier than when I'm lost in the past researching some long-dead circus performer. And I prefer sequins to suits. This is not a new development, by the way. I can't imagine my life without circus in it. And today, I want to convince you that no matter what you do for a living or what your creative practice might be, you should run away with the circus too, metaphorically, anyway. Circus is what happens when people discard traditional expectations and make impossible things possible. And in a world that increasingly wants to depersonalize and distract us, this approach is not only radical, it's necessary. Now, I think we can all agree being an adult is slightly overrated. Hack your routine, max your efficiency, stick your face in a bowl of ice water at 4 a.m. No. It's safe to say that none of this was likely on the agenda for Mauricia de Thiers, a French woman who in 1905 performed an act with the Barnum and Bailey Circus known as the Dip of Death. She, in her long skirts and a string of pearls, would climb to a platform 4 stories above the gathered crowds. At the top was a car. Looked sort of like somebody put wheels on a fancy canoe, and it weighed about half a ton. Now, cars were only just coming on the market in America at this time. The Model T was still 3 years away. So for most people, just seeing a car out in the wild was a rare treat. But Mauricia de Thiers was not out for a country drive. She would get into this car, pull a lever, and go whipping down an S-shaped track fast enough to send her through the air, upside down, toward a landing track some 40 feet away. She landed beautifully, complained of nothing more than an occasional headache. Crowds roared and gasped as she defied death at every show. Now, there's no sensible reason to want to drive a car upside down, or to watch someone do it for that matter. But there is a playful one, and whimsy is just as important as work. In fact, one isn't truly effective without the other. Play isn't luxury and it isn't laziness. It's part of how we thrive. According to the American Academy of Pediatrics, play is important to healthy brain development in children. And in adults, studies have shown that it can help mitigate the effects of everything from stress to dementia. And what is circus, after all, but professional play for both the performers and the audience? Circus is a space where everyday rules can be bent, if not broken. Who's to say a girl can't bench press a few of her friends for fun? What if gravity didn't matter? Should monkeys ride horses? The circus, the tent, it's a place of extravagant possibility. And sometimes the best reason to do something is just because you can. When the Brooklyn Bridge opened in 1883, it was the longest suspension bridge in the world, and people were terrified of it. Only days after the bridge opened, there was a rowdy crowd stampede. Many New Yorkers avoided it altogether because they thought something so big and so grand couldn't possibly hold strong. And so, to prove it was safe, on May 17, 1884, P.T. Barnum arranged for a parade of 21 circus elephants and 17 camels to cross in full public view. People gathered streetside and leaned out of windows to catch a glimpse of the famous elephant Jumbo, and joked about whether or not camels would confuse the toll booth attendant. Regular traffic stopped as this line of exotic animals wound its way over the bridge, crossing safely under every stone archway. Yes, this was basically a walking advertisement for Barnum's circus, which was due conveniently to open in Brooklyn the next week. But the stunt did something special. Spectacle was able to communicate where words and official wisdom could not. Amusements let performers speak outside the established order, and this is powerful. The original role of a circus clown was in the line of a trickster figure, someone who was allowed to poke fun at the ringmaster, to speak truth to power. In this way, circus becomes a transformative space where we can try on new identities, imagine new realities, and even explore joy as a subversive act. Where can you be spectacular? In case it isn't clear, I could go on for hours talking about circus people, and there are so many of them. Trapeze artists, snake charmers, band leaders, tent bosses, you name it. And this brings me to perhaps the most important point about circus. Big things don't happen by accident, and they don't happen alone. In circus lingo, there's a saying for this, that everyone should be with it and for it. The idea here is that you bring your talents to the table, and you're committed to the whole, because without collaboration, the show doesn't happen. It takes a ton of work to make a show seem effortless and immersive, to carry an audience away on a dream. But with the right team, you can build a tent city by dawn, serve hot breakfast to the crew, put on 2 shows and a parade for thousands of people, and then do it all again tomorrow in a town miles away. The audience, you, the audience, is part of it too. Unlike theater, circus doesn't have a fourth wall. So when you come, you are part of the experience and part of the show, part of co-creating something brief and wonderful. And that has a way of sticking with you long after the show has left town. So then, when you daydream, make art, tell stories, share your feelings with friends, you're able to re-enter that electric space of the circus in your everyday life. And that's something that Howard Tibbles did. Tibbles was a circus fan and philanthropist who turned his passion for circus into a miniature model of the historic show on display at the Ringling Museum in Sarasota. The model covers 3,800 square feet, and every detail is just as it would have been in the early 20th century. Tibbles spent decades adding to the model by hand, more than 40,000 pieces. And it takes visitors on a journey from trains to tents and back again. It is an invitation into awe. Circus, in its many forms, is real. It celebrates people, and it takes us through a cycle of emotion and thought. We learn things from mystery that we can't learn anywhere else, things that a prompt can't replicate. Where are you part of a community of delight? So whatever you do for work or fun, I hope you leave here today with a little big top energy. Maybe you'll learn to juggle. I recommend it. Maybe you go see one of the many circuses that are traveling around still today. Or maybe you just daydream and think, what would I do if I ran away with the circus? And if you're feeling personally challenged, professionally stuck, or just want to shake things up a little bit, remember, it's good to do things just because you can. Open your mind to spectacle. Share real things with friends. There's a lot going on in the world today that can make us all think that there really isn't room for frivolity. But children of all ages, step right up, because we need it now more than ever. Thank you.